Welcome to my ever first YouTube video. I always envisioned me crazy, workout, the fittest, cleanest, strongest with an on-point diet, the epitome of hashtag 2012 fitness on YouTube. Instead, here I am talking about eating disorder recovery and helping others embark on the beauty of recovery. The reason being, I have found through trial and error, more error than trial, a lot of it, that all I need to do is to start listening to my body. But when you have gone against that for so many years, it turns out that it's a bit harder than it seems. But calories, following a meal plan, tracking macros, just tracking protein, trying to eat what Instagram says, eat what my mom cooks. For fuck's sake, Marta, the only thing you need to do is to start listening to your body. Start treating it with respect. Start caring for it. Start listening to it. You know, practice what you preach. That's when I came across intuitive eating. And I always thought that I was doing it. But the truth is, I was still embracing my eating disorder. I would intuitive eat, but never to the point of discomfort, you know, never too much. Always enough to keep me thin. Always enough to continue losing weight. Like, have a cookie, but don't have too much. And the whole point of intuitive eating is to let go of that control and get back to that baseline, to your real hunger, fullness cues. Be able to enjoy food for what it tastes, for pleasure. Just eat like a child would. You know how children are hungry and then they scream that they want food. You give them food, and even if there's still food on their plate, they'll just get up and move on, and then maybe half an hour and later they're like, I want an ice cream. That's what I wanted. I don't want to be someone who is tracking macros, who is tracking calories, how much protein there's in their meal, how much carbs they're eating. I don't want to care. Now, if you care, but you don't want to care, this is good for you. But if you care and you want to continue caring, that's fine too. But for me, that's not right. So, being myself on this journey, I wanted to introduce the 10 principles of intuitive eating and the principles that those recovering from an eating disorder or disordered eating should start with. These are the ones that we can fully embrace without the danger of continuing to enable that eating disorder. So as I've mentioned, there's 10 principles, starting with reject diet mentality. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to refer to a diet as a form of eating that involves manipulating what you eat to lose weight or change the shape of your body. The second principle is to honor your hunger. If you had to pee and you just peed, you would still go pee. The third principle is to make peace with food. There are no good and bad foods. We give ourselves unconditional permission to eat. When we give ourselves permission to make peace with food and permission to eat, we create a sense of autonomy. The fact that I get to choose and decide what to eat really allows me to choose foods from a place of love. Number 4 is challenge the food police. Any rules you have given yourself or challenging others, their opinions on what you're eating, on what they consider healthy or unhealthy. You remove the judgment, you remove the shame from how you eat, when you eat, how much you eat. Number 5 is discover the satisfaction factor. This is about eating for pleasure. We don't just have to eat for health. Like, what foods do you enjoy? What flavors do you actually like? What can you experiment with? What foods have you not tried? Just enjoying it, you know, like, food's good. Number 6, feel your fullness. Let me tell you, this one's hard if you're recovering, but learning your body's hunger and fullness cues is essentially like the whole concept. So, you know, understanding when you're full, when you can say, no, I don't want any more. Like, I've had enough food, I'm satisfied. Until you don't give yourself like full unconditional permission to eat whatever you want when you want it, and your body trusts that it's not gonna go without, this is going to be hard to feel because restriction is always going to override fullness. Number 7, about coping with your emotions with kindness. And with this, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't cope with our emotions with food. It's natural that we find comfort in eating food. When we eat, especially highly palatable? I can't say that word, sorry. That's going to soothe us. that's going to release dopamine in our brains, and it's literally going to calm our nervous system down. So first thing, remove the shame from that. It's about learning new ways to cope with your emotions. What other ways can you cope with your emotions that don't involve food? Respect your body. Number 8. So this is all about doing self-love and self-acceptance work. It's treating your body with dignity. It's not degrading your body. It's not, talking badly about your body. It's all about loving it and respecting it. Number 9 is moving your body because it feels good, not because you should. Ask yourself why you're doing it. Ask yourself if you want to do it. If you're too tired, should you take a rest day? Or is it great? Like, do you feel like you have to push yourself, but it's going to make you feel good after because you want to release endorphins? And number 10 is about gentle nutrition. This one is the last one for a reason. Before applying gentle nutrition, we have to trust our bodies have to trust us, and we have to trust that we're eating what we truly want. Essentially, gentle nutrition is about honouring your health, making food choices based on self-care and not self-control. Very, very important to note that nutrition can only be gentle and self-caring after we have truly worked through letting go of that diet mentality. It's about integrating those inner cues into an outer awareness of what nutrition is. It's not based on fat, it's just nutrition, regardless of body weight and size. Having covered all of that information, I want to touch on the principles that you can apply starting today if you're recovering from an eating disorder. Those include rejecting the diet mentality. Forget weight loss, forget dieting, forget trying to be the smallest you. Any rules that are perpetuating your disorder, your disordered behaviors, forget them. Obviously, there are certain things that you might do that may be considered diet culture rules. So let's say you like to walk and you normally walk 10,000 steps a day. You don't need to stop doing that if you generally enjoy doing that and it feels like your body feels fine doing that, you feel good, you enjoy it, it makes you happy, it comes from a place of self-love. If you're doing it and you're dreading it, then stop. Just accept that you don't need to do that if you don't want to. And trust that your body knows, your body knows better than any diet culture rule. The second principle that you can apply is to make peace with food. This is your classic fear food overcome scenario. When you're recovering, especially for me, I can say this, it's very easy to get comfortable in eating enough but still having loads of fear foods. In fact, I have something that I'm going to recommend. Overcome your fear foods. How do you overcome a fear? You face it. Which sucks because this is like a nervous laughter because I haven't overcome so many of my fear foods. So many. What essentially we want to do is expose ourselves to the fear foods until we no longer fear them. This will also help a lot with eating for pleasure because we will be able to eat for pleasure without being triggered or scared of it. But what I would recommend is make a list. And yes, I have a list. Look how long it is. I'm not ashamed of that. It's what it is. What can I say? It is what it is. I am scared of all these foods. And it's stupid because I'm scared of buttered toast. That's kind of sad. But yeah, we all have them, I'm just saying this just to remove the shame of it. We're scared of food. That's literally challenge yourself to eat these foods as frequently as you think you're able to, without feeling overly triggered, but also fast enough that you're not in a comfort zone. Challenging the food police. Essentially, in an ED, this is about challenging your ED voice. Setting boundaries about diet talk if they trigger you. If someone is doing a diet and they're doing something that you used to do in your disordered eating, it may be fine for them, but if it triggers you and it triggers your eating disorder voice, then put a boundary. Say, I don't want to know about it. I'm recovering from an eating disorder, please keep it to yourself. It's also about challenging the voice when it does pop up. So it might be something as simple as you're serving yourself food and you say, and you think, oh, I shouldn't have that, or like, oh, I shouldn't have double carbs then, or oh, I need to go on a walk because I haven't been even though I really don't want to, or it's like saying no to doing that extra cardio because you really don't need it and it was just your ED voice. It's challenging all these little behaviours that keep us stuck in our disorder and keep that voice alive, essentially. I know that sometimes this is hard because if you care about health, like I do myself, it can be hard to know and distinguish between something that you want to do for your health and is self-caring and self-loving, and something that you are doing to perpetuate your eating disorders. So asking myself, why am I doing this? Or why am I making myself do this? If the answer is to prevent weight gain, promote weight loss, I challenge it. So an example of this is I always go for walks and I love it. And normally I get to a certain place and then I walk back. A few times I've been walking and I've just thought, oh, I actually can't be bothered, I just want to go back home. And I've just turned around. And that sounds like second nature to anyone that goes on a normal walk. But if you have an eating disorder, you know, this might be something that you do and that is your ED voice. Number 4 is about discovering satisfaction in food. It's about rediscovering pleasure without the shame and the guilt. You know, it comes with exposing yourself to fear foods, but it can also come from just exploring different foods. You might try it and hate it, but that's how you know. Like, now you know you don't like that food. What foods do I really enjoy? What foods did you enjoy as a child? What did you like about them? What did you enjoy when you didn't diet, before your eating disorder? The last thing that you can work on, respect your body. This is about doing body acceptance work. I only started really doing this for the past 6 weeks. Honestly, I wasn't doing it. I thought I could recover from an eating disorder without truly learning to love my body. I did. It's not gonna happen. Daily affirmations. This really is going to help, because if you are writing out that you love yourself, that you love your body, that you're grateful for it, for what it does, for how it looks, you are going to start believing it, even if you don't write. Try to really change your mindset. You can implement this into your affirmations or maybe a gratitude list. Start appreciating your body for what it does for you and not how it looks. You know, be grateful that it gets you out of bed, that you can walk, that you can run, that you can lift, that it digests your food, that it allows you to, you know, connect with other people, to socialize, to live your life. And it sounds cringy, but you need to start from zero. Like, if you struggle with an ED, chances are your self-esteem, your self-worth, and your inner critic are pretty loud. So you're gonna have to lower the volume on those and really like turn it up on this, because you have to fake it till you make it, and it really just is how it is. Unfollow people on social media that don't make you feel good. If someone is triggering you and you're recovering, unfollow them. Like, simple. And the last thing is, whenever you spot yourself saying something mean about yourself, recognize it, learn to recognize those thoughts and completely change the narrative. So if I'm saying, ew, I hate my legs, just switch it around and say, fucking love my legs. Love them. Love how strong they are, love their bumps, love their stretch marks, love that I can walk to places, that they carry me. Just be nice to them and change the narrative. And that, my friends, is everything on my first YouTube video. If you like it, just, you know, like it, subscribe. I will see you soon and wish you the best on your recovery. Bye.